Hello, huge movie fanatic Nate, stopping on by once again, coming at you to showcase a retro VHS tape. Today I'm coming to showcase what might be probably, I would imagine, the original VHS release in North America for the motion picture by the name of Meatballs Part 2. I should say this right off the bat and get it out in the open that I regard pretty much the first film as being the only one that's really watchable. Unfortunately, there were at least 3 sequels to the film Meatballs, and in my opinion they just get worse and worse and worse, and they really take a big huge step down between, even the first and second one. I regard the second one as pretty much unwatchable, although I do probably regard it as the second best one, but that's really not saying much for Meatballs 2, unfortunately. But I still do happen to be the owner of probably the original VHS release of the film. I think this movie came out in 1984. You can look on the back here, it says copyright 1985, RCA Columbia Pictures Home Video. So this is probably a VHS tape from 1985, a year after the movie came out in theaters, I would imagine. I don't really like the movie, but if you take a look at the cover here, just in the same vein as the first film, I do appreciate using the painting for the movie poster of Meatballs Part 2. It's kind of the same general, thing as the poster for the first film, although the poster for this one is a little more goofy and stuff like that. You've got a little bit of, they kind of threw in everything that, all of the quote-unquote highlights, if you will, from Meatballs Part 2, including, I don't think I really noticed this until just now, that stupid little UFO is kind of making, it's popping up from in front of the school bus or whatever. If you don't know, Meatballs Part 2 kind of does a little E.T. kind of a wink, where there's this lonely alien camper that gets dropped off by a spaceship, so there's this, it's just so pathetic. Looking at the right spine, we see Meatballs Part 2, Roman numerals there, closed caption there, VHS Hi-Fi, RCA Columbia Pictures Home Video. So with RCA Columbia Pictures Home Video back in the day, one thing that was interesting about their VHS releases is the spines. We just showed you the right spine, now look at the left spine. It's completely different. It's more of just like a logo, kind of, the logo for the movie that's on the poster, versus just a very robotic, basic, the other spine was like just a robotic font, white on black, whereas this one's actually more like the logo from the movie with a Columbia TriStar Pictures logo there on the bottom there. So this is kind of interesting how the spines differ on this particular release. And just like with the left spine, the top of the VHS tape definitely showcases more of the logo of the title versus just the boring robotic white on black title. And looking from the top to the boring robotic title to the bottom, what's that about? Barcode and a logo there for home video. This isn't quite as fun as the VHS release from the first film, although this tape still doesn't have a bottom. What it does do, and the way you do access the VHS tape on this particular release, is simply open up the side, and that way you can slip out the VHS tape that way. Looking at the back of the VHS release of Meatballs Part 2, you kind of have, the biggest picture here front and center. It kind of gives any heterosexual males who might be looking at this VHS tape more of a reason to actually rent this movie. Unfortunately, when you make your way to the bottom of the back of the VHS cover, you'll see that it's rated PG, so unfortunately this Miss Busty chick never does end up showing the goods. One of the other pictures here looks like a prank on the girls in the shower room, and then the other small picture actually features none other than Pee-wee Paul Rubens Herman in a pre-Pee-wee role in a movie. I'll let you guys pause and read the synopsis if you so choose. It should be said that Kim Richards, I want to say she was the girl in Assault from Precinct 13. Kim Richards is actually featured in this movie, being a little more of an older character, being, I don't know, mid to late teens and by the time they did this movie. So that's kind of fun to see her, being older versus a little kid, possibly from Assault from Precinct 13, getting blown away holding an ice cream cone. Removing the VHS tape from the case, we see RCA, Columbia Pictures, Home Video, TriStar Pictures presents Meatballs Part 2. You've got, I don't know, some kind of marker on here, PV, I don't know exactly what that's for, if that's what it says or whatever. You've got a Please Rewind tape and a little security sticker here. Wow, the spine sticker's seen better days. Looking at the spine, we got Meatballs Part 2, closed caption, VHS Hi-Fi, RCA, Columbia, whatever the hell whatever the hell it is, covered up by this video store sticker label thing there. Looks like this particular VHS was once had a happy home at Mr. Movies number 144 there, so that's cool to see that on the end of one of the ends of the tape. Not saying that there's not anything that's worth seeing in this movie, but I would more or less steer clear from Meatballs Part 2 or pretty much Part 3 or 4 for that matter. You know, if you really want to see the best Meatballs movie, in my opinion, obviously you only have to see the first one, and the rest of the films can go take a flying leap for as far as I'm concerned. But I hope you guys enjoyed my little showcasing of the VHS release from North America for the motion picture Meatballs Part 2. I would imagine, as I said before, that it's probably the very first home video VHS release of the film. Thank you guys very much for watching this video, and as always, we'll catch you on the next one.